Okay guys, 8 warning signs that your testosterone is on the decline, possibly even crashing. The big problem with this is the older you get and the longer you leave this, the further it's going to fall. So if yours is 400 right now, unless you do something drastic, it's only going to get lower. Once it's below 300, that's when your life really starts to get difficult. So there's 8 signs here. I've got my paper out, that's how you know I'm getting serious. So there's 8 signs. I'm going to jump straight into it, but not with the typical morning wood. I'm not going to go on about that because you've heard it all before. So the first one is testicular shrinkage and lower semen volume. The reason this happens is your balls are essentially less active. This is usually a gradual thing. You're probably not going to wake up one morning and think, wow, they're looking small. It's a very, very slow, gradual process. The difference between like an old man and the typical 25-year-old is pretty drastic, but that drastic change has happened over a 40-year period. So, but make no mistake, it is happening as your testosterone drops. In particular, your luteinizing hormone, and especially your follicle stimulating hormone. When those two drop, your balls are going in one direction. They're not getting any bigger, let's put it that way. And the load volume, whether you're finding this out through Pornhub videos or whatever, which I do not recommend, or it's with your significant other, you'll notice that the load volume decreases. And again, it's because your balls are less active. Very linked to follicle stimulating hormone. It's not the same as testosterone going down, but it's very much linked. So that's obviously not a good thing. I don't think any man wants that. Reversing that is a case of getting your FSH back up. I have 1 or 2 ebooks on this actually. The 2.0 version being obviously the more up-to-date one on my website. But yeah. Second warning sign is dysfunction and a lack of hardness. So when you're required to get hard, this is assuming it's not psychological. Some guys are just terrified of women, and so they get nervous. I've honestly never had that. Or drug induced, like some guys at uni used to take too much whatever. I don't want to say it on YouTube, and then they just couldn't perform. Assuming you don't have those, yes, this is a low testosterone sign. It's a sign that it's going down. Hardness is just 100% is testosterone. That's what it's linked to. Testosterone is the sex hormone. When it's low, hardness is low. When it's high, your hardness is working 100%, and you feel like you could hang all sorts of things on it. You feel indestructible, you know, it's very, very strong. Third one is more of a brain thing. It's brain fog and short-term memory problems, not long-term. Your long-term brain will be fine, memory will be fine. Testosterone going down, thyroid also, and estradiol being high, these hormones being off, usually leads to some sort of brain fog if they're bad enough. So when you just can't focus, you can't concentrate, and your head just feels cloudy, it feels heavy. It's very annoying, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to get stuff done. Yes, I speak from experience. Mine was because I crashed my estradiol. I did a video on this a while back. But yeah, brain fog, short-term memory problems. So it'll be like, oh, where did I leave X? Where did I leave Y? What did I just say? What did I say I was just going to do? Also very annoying. Luckily, it's temporary. It's not like you've got brain damage or something serious, but you do need to reverse that. It's hard to be a productive person with those two things going on. Again, I talk from experience. Fourth one, anxiety and mood changes. And mood changes can happen because of these other things. So if you're struggling to get hard, you're probably not going to be in a very good mood about that. If you're forgetting things and you can't focus or be productive, you're not going to feel very good about your career or whatever you're doing. But anxiety is another big one. And people like Andrew Tate will say mental health things aren't real. I get where he's coming from. And if every man had £1 million and a bunch of supermodels around him, he's probably not going to be depressed. Yes, that's true. But mental health is a real thing. Anxiety is a real thing. And when you have really messed up hormones, you're far more likely to have anxiety. And the deeper you go, the harder it is to get out. So you get to the point where just normal stuff sends you off into a panic attack and a spiral, like your body's about to be attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. It's a real condition and it's pretty ugly. So yeah, hormones. You want your testosterone to be good. You want your DHT to be good as well. At least from an anxiety standpoint, if this is an issue for you. You want everything to be balanced, really. You don't want anything fluctuating too much. Quite often it's the hormonal fluctuations that send the body into a sort of panic response. Fifth one, muscle loss. And muscle loss is an obvious one for like old men who are inactive and don't lift weights at all. It's kind of predictable, but it's even more concerning if you're lifting weights and training hard in the gym and you're putting the effort in and you're like 30 something. So you're hardly some old man. People like to say they're old, but they're not actually old. You're 33, you're not old. And you're still losing muscle, or you're finding it next to impossible to gain muscle. That's a real problem. And of course, as the muscle loss, especially in the lower body, is linked to all-cause mortality. That's how important muscle is. Certainly in the legs, certainly you need strong hips, good mobility. That's why I say dumbbell lunges are so important, because they are. Hip flexor movement, balance, stability. You start losing muscle though, and you're training, that's a huge sign that your testosterone's off. All forms of steroids ultimately come from testosterone. That's not an accident. There are things like SARMs and other peptides and stuff, but the old school anabolic androgenic steroids come from testosterone. So it's not just the sex hormone, it's also the muscle gaining hormone. And if you're getting in the gym and the stimulus is there and you're just not progressing on anything, you're regressing, something's seriously off. If you're training 6 or 7 days a week, you probably just need to let the cortisol dissipate, and then but if you're like 4 or 5 days a week training pretty hard and there's just no progress, could be a sign that the testosterone's low. The sixth sign is the one I've spoken about so many times before, and it's the morning wood thing. If you've not had morning wood in months at all, yeah, that's not a good sign. Even if the frequency is going down, so it used to be pretty much every morning, whereas now it's, I don't know, a couple of times a week, that's not great. You know, you don't want this stuff to be declining too far or for too long. Again, this one isn't 100% about testosterone, because you can be a high testosterone guy, again, talking from experience. And if you have a one-off night where you sleep for 5 hours or something, it will make it very unlikely that you get morning wood, even though your testosterone on your most recent several blood tests have all said 800, 950, 1000. But you still fail to get morning wood occasionally if you have a bad night's sleep. It is absolutely the biggest link to morning wood is sleep, but REM sleep that particular morning. That's probably the closest thing. Obviously testosterone as well, but that's a big one that a lot of you guys are very concerned about, quite rightly. I've said before, and I probably should do a video on this or a thread or something, that the health of your body is reflected in the health and the function of your unit. Your unit not working is a sign that your body is not optimally healthy. When it's working really well, that is a good sign. It's not the only sign. Oh, fuck off. I don't think this YouTube video is going to do very well on the algorithm. But yeah, when it's working properly, it's a good sign. It's closely linked to health. There's not that much more. It's a very simplistic way of looking at things, but it's pretty accurate. If your body is good and the inflammation's low, it's going to work properly. Sign number 7, easier fat gain. And this is especially true in the stomach region, and if your estrogen's really high, the lower chest region as well. You start to resemble more of a female, which is not something any of us want. Hormones do affect fat loss. They make it harder. Your metabolism drops when your testosterone's low, and it just makes it harder and harder to... I would also argue that your cravings go up. There's something I've noticed with myself years ago and with other people. I think it's something to do with dopamine. I actually don't know the exact reason. My theory is when your testosterone's high, your baseline dopamine levels tend to be higher. You're less interested in my case, sugary cereal. In many people's cases, you know what, Hub or OnlyFans or God knows what else. These like short-term, cheap, easy dopamine hits. Like, I don't know, sugary foods. I've had guys recently I've done blood work for, and guys will say, I only eat clean foods, I don't eat processed foods, and then you dig deeper and they're eating chocolate every night. Like, what? But yeah, when your testosterone's high, I think it's easier to be more disciplined. You still need to make the right choices, but it's less of a constant battle. It's less of a constant struggle just to do basic stuff like don't be a porn addict and don't eat sugary foods. So that's a pretty big one. When fat loss is easier, just you have more energy as well. It's more motivating because you can see the results in the mirror. You have more energy to be more productive. You look more handsome. My hair's still a bit crap right now, but when you're leaner and you're not like that, like I was when I was overweight, makes a big difference to your face and how you feel and how much energy you have. The final one is weaker eye contact with high status people. I think anyone can maintain eye contact with people you know well. But a lot of guys, like the one that triggered this one was a lot of guys are terrified of attractive women. And really you have to ask why. It's kind of like demand and supply for anything in life. If there's lots of demand for that thing and limited supply, relatively, I'm not talking about on a global context, I'm talking about if there's only one hot girl in your workplace, then in that environment, that is limited supply. It doesn't matter if there's 2 billion on the planet or whatever, 100 million. That's irrelevant to you right now. And when there's high demand for something and limited supply, that thing is high status. That person, that whatever, that resource, it's high value, it's high status. And so my argument here is when your testosterone's high, you naturally start feeling higher status yourself. And this is just from the testosterone because you have more energy and it's just better for the brain. You have more energy and higher dopamine levels, so you tend to feel higher status. Very much linked to dopamine, guys, seriously. But if you can start gaining muscle as well, a significant amount of muscle, burning fat, looking better, being more productive, making more money, that is going to double and triple the status thing. A lot of people they talk about social anxiety, and they talk about fear of certain people, attractive women, or I don't know, jacked guys or whatever. Really, it all comes down to status, all of it. And it really comes down to how you perceive yourself. And a lot of that comes down to dopamine. Not frying your dopamine receptors, but also having the right hormonal setup so that you have strong base dopamine levels to begin with, and they are harder to fry, and they bounce back faster. If you've got low testosterone, you have one bad day, it's going to set you back for 3 or 4 days till you recover. If you've got high testosterone, you could have 2 bad days and then bounce back the next. So yeah, there's 8 warning signs to kind of look out for. And yeah, increasing your testosterone is going to fix pretty much all of them. There's also REM sleep and a few other factors as well. But if you want to check out some signs that your testosterone is on the rise, so a more positive video, check out this one. I talk about the 6 signs that you're on the ascension, that you're ascending. Maybe you'll find that more positive and more relatable, hopefully relatable. See you in that one.